So let's look at the driver code now. So this is the declaration of the driver class. So as we have seen earlier, the driver contains the two mailboxes using which it will communicate with the scoreboard class. Okay, so first mailbox is generator to scoreboard, which indicates that it will create a raw object of generator, pass it to the scoreboard, drive the values on the interface, get an output from the DUT, encapsulate that in an object of type generator, pass this new object to scoreboard again. So the scoreboard in this way will have two objects, one input object and one the object from with the values that the DUT has driven. It also instantiates the interface, instantiates the two scoreboards. So in the new function, as we have seen in the top module, that the driver had three input arguments: the interface, the two mailboxes. So using this, so this is a keyword, this THIS, this is a keyword in system verilog, which acts as referring, which is used for referencing the global of this class. So when I write this dot intf equal to intf, it indicates that I am using the intf handle that I have received in the new function and assigning it to my intf, the intf handle that I have in this class. Okay, this dot intf equal to intf. Similarly, this dot mailbox generator equal to mailbox generator. And this part of code assigns all the values to their assigns all the variables to their default values, just to make sure that none of the variable has an x value or a z value at the start of simulation. Now if you remember, in the program.sv file we had done driver.startRun of 100. Okay, now let's check what does this start run do. So this is the start run API implementation. This API has an argument called number of operations. So based on this argument, this driver class will perform these many operations. What it does is, it comes inside, creates a handle of the generator and starts a for loop, which is run for number of operation times. That is, if the user wants to perform 10 operations, he will pass number of operations as 10, and this driver would create 10 different objects of generator and pass them to the DUT. Okay, so now let's say what it does is, it starts a for loop, creates a handle of generator, calls a randomize on generator. Because generator is the object which contains the random variables, it calls gen.randomize. Now there are a couple of things that needs to be emphasized upon in this line. Simply calling a gen.randomize would also have worked, because this generator itself has a set of constraints which make sure that none of the values go out of the required values, out of the required range as required by user. But we have also declared an inline constraint here. So this line gen.randomize with something indicates that randomize the class, satisfy the constraints that are there inside the class, but also make sure that this constraint works. So this is like adding a runtime assertion. Okay, an inline constraint is actually a runtime constraint which says that randomize the class generator, but make sure that ALU enable is 1. Okay, since we saw that in the DUT specification that ALU enable is a trigger for the DUT. No matter what value the other variables have, ALU enable must be high for the DUT to sample it and start performing the operation. So what we do here is that we say that randomize all the values, all the random variables, but make sure that ALU enable is set to 1, so that it acts as a valid stimulus for the DUT. Okay, so we randomize the class generator with ALU enable equal to 1, display the values. So calling this API will display all the values that have been provided to the random variables. So this is how we put this object in the scoreboard mailbox. Okay, dot put is a keyword, put is a keyword, gen is the handle of the object, and mbox gen is the mailbox name. So since mailbox is like a pipe, there will be an entity which puts something into that pipe and an entity which receives on the other end of the pipe. So if you try to understand this in a form of a pipe, driver is the guy who is putting an object of type generator into that pipe called mailbox, and scoreboard will be the guy who will receive this object from the other end of the pipe. And the type of object is what? It is an object which only contains the input stimulus that is provided to the DUT, or that will be provided to the DUT. This is required so that the scoreboard can have actual knowledge of the stimulus provided to the DUT. So what the scoreboard will do with this? It will use this stimulus, create a random, a dummy DUT inside itself, that is perform the operation on its own, create the output, get another object from the mailbox, from the different mailbox, which will contain the DUT output values, compare the two of them and display the comparison pass or fail notification. So what do we do with after this? After putting the value into the scoreboard mailbox, we put a display that we have put this number object into the scoreboard mailbox. Since this is a for loop and we might perform more than one operations, so this is an indication that which object have we just put in the mailbox. And after that we call this drive bus API, which is an internal API here. So what we do with this is that this API is used to drive the actual values on the interface, which will be used by DUT. So what we do is interface dot clocking block dot operand 1 equal to gen dot operand 1. So we know that these are the 4 inputs. These are driven to the DUT on the interface. What do we do after that? Since if you remember the specifications, it says that the DUT must drive the values in the next passage of clock after receiving the inputs. And if you understand it pictorially, it means that if a data is driven at one passage, the DUT will drive the output at the next passage, and the test bench should be able to sample the output at the further next passage. So that is why we have given a gap of two clocks here. So intf.cb waits for 1 clock cycle. Waiting for 2 clock cycles is required because at this passage the data will be driven to the DUT, at the next passage DUT will drive the data, and at the subsequent passage the data will be sampled by the test bench. So what we do here, at this we do wait for result valid to become high. Just like ALU enable is a trigger for DUT to sample the input, result valid is a trigger for the test bench to sample the output driven by DUT. So we wait for the result valid to become high because we know that when the result valid becomes high, result will also be driven by the DUT. So after waiting for result valid to become high, we take the outputs from DUT. We sample the intf.cb.result and copy it into the same object, gen.result. Similarly, overflow flag. So now this gen object contains the input values as well as the output values driven by DUT. So this is like a complete block of data, and we pass this to the other scoreboard, the other mailbox of the scoreboard. This is like the second object which contains the input, the same inputs that the first object has, and the outputs driven by DUT. And after that we wait for 1 clock. So this 1 clock is optional. You can actually decide to drive the data in the same clock to the DUT, or you can actually decide to have as much gap as you want to. In this case we just have a single clock passage wait, single clock wait. So what we do here is that, so we randomize the generator, create an object, pass it to the scoreboard and the DUT, wait for the DUT to drive the response, sample the response, create the object, pass it to the scoreboard, wait for 1 clock and create another object. So we continue like that as long as this number of operations are not performed completely. So this is the operation of the driver.